はい、戻りました。引き続き、司会リストでよろしくお願いいたします。これは何?Congratulations! Level completed. 何なんか遊べるやつなんですかね、待機中に。そういうのいいなぁ。なんかできるんやろか。なんでしょうね。昨日もありました。そうそうそう、表示される文字を使って単語を作れっていう。結構ね、長いこと時間かかったりするじゃないですか、いろいろとね、セットアップとかね。そういう間、見てる人どうやって楽しむんやろな、的なのはね、イベント主催する人はみんな悩むとこやとは思うんですけど。今のいいですね。なんかできるんやったらね。へえ、いいですね。チャット欄書き込むだけでできるんや。うーん、ブラー。えなにこれ。ロッフル。あ、なんか単語さえ見つけたらいいってことなの？もうオーフルとかはあるから、あ、塗るとか OK なんや。フォン、アンローフル。アンなんとかも OK なんだね。ローン、ブロー、ウォールとかね。うんうん、そんな感じなんですね。いやー、でも、英語圏の人間じゃないと難しそうやな。単純な単語だけやったらええですけどね。ラン。レベル6ってことはもっと簡単やったやつがあったんかな。こんだけ待っててもなかなか出てけえへんってことは、みんなやっぱり、ないな、ないなと思ってるんですかね。難しい。オーフルとかね、プルとかもうすでに見つけてるやつばっかりが頭に出てくるわ。なんて読むんやろ。ルアウ、ルル。ルルって何やったんやろ。そういうのも OK なんかな。向こうの辞書とか載ってたら OK なんですかね。オーフルがね、オーフルって一回見ちゃったらずっとオーフルになっちゃうね。オーフルって単語もなんかね、海外イベントとかで見るまではそんなに目にすることなかった気がするけど、意外とよう使うねんな、みたいなね。うん、知らん単語ばかりだったですね。難しい。とてつもないって、へー。いっぱい答えた人が星いっぱいつくのかな。 ウォックで中華鍋なんだ。すごいな。これついついやりたくなりますね。面白いな。英単語の勉強になりそうですね。まあ、難しすぎて一生使わないやつが出そうだけど、いっぱい。なんか今回ずっとハテナですね。なんだろうね。お、なんかいきなりボーンといった。エイリアン、クリーン、ダンス、リアン、アライン、ダイアンかな。なんて読むやろ。グランス、シンキング。あ、ゲームオーバーなっちゃった。これはレベル1なのかなあ、簡単なんですね。あ、短いな。バード。あと何がありやろ。でも逆に文字数短いと難しそうやな。ブラボーとかあったっぽいな。そんなことないかな。カナル、ニュクリア、アプロード。あ、やっぱブラボーあったね。
Welcome back to Lady Arcaders Out of Bounds Toronto. My name is Izzy, and we are in the wonderful Society Clubhouse, which is a women-run and owned community space here in the heart of Toronto's West End. And joined with me is
I'm
Hello.
Bunny's Bonarina, and I've been here the whole time.
All right, so what are we doing here today?
Oh, well, it's at last finally time. It's been a hot minute since I have done one of these. I'm making my grand return. But first, a light request. As you can see, it is my mother's birthday. This is true. Anyways,
お母さんのね。
may we all sing happy birthday to my mother?
Let's do it!
Yeah!
お誕生日おめでとうございます。
Happy birthday to you.
ハッピーバースデー2が始まったわ。
Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bun Mom. Happy birthday to you.
おめでとうございますということで。
Back-to-back events.
All right. Happy birthday to Bun Mom. Let's talk about Echo the Dolphin.
Yes. Today we are here for some Echo the Dolphin because I unfortunately felt the need to tell you all about it. So,
I'm ready to be educated. I know nothing except for, yes, it's a dolphin.
yes, it is a dolphin. It's been a hot while since I've done one of these. That is to say, I've been thinking about dolphins for 6 months straight. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, let's get the message off the board and get this whole thing started. So, what do we know about Echo the Dolphin?
Man, I already told you my knowledge. I'm clean out now.
Don't worry about this line. It'll be important later, I promise. Womp, womp. Excellent. So the first thing we have to discuss is what we're actually talking about because there is a surprising amount of echo out in the world for some reason. Don't know why, but I'm very happy about it.
Don't question it. Just enjoy it.
Specifically, we will not be talking about Echo the Dolphin Defender of the Future. Unfortunately, the PS2 video game we will not be talking about. We don't have time. I think that's also our cue to start the timer if we need. Excellent. We can't be talking about that. Instead, we're going to be going over the first 2 Echo the Dolphin games with their lead Adonanziata, who is our Lord and Savior as far as we're concerned for the rest of this rant. Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure putting this together because this is just the start of it, I promise. So, just for clarity's sake, we're going to put this down here. This is the Defenders of the Future timeline. It's completely separate. DOTF. We don't have time to talk about it, but it is there. This should concern you. With that out of the way, Echo the Dolphin, of course, Genesis game, mostly the brainchild of one person, our good friend Ed. Fantastic, lovely. He went from pretty much from publishing door to publishing door trying to sell this silly game about a dolphin that does a bunch of funny stuff and could not get it picked up until a company, I believe, called Novacade picked it up, and oh, they must have been happy because it ended up being one of the more sellingest games on the Genesis somehow. I actually don't know how this happened, but I'm very glad it did. So, to start us off, we play as Echo the Dolphin. Now, Echo the Dolphin is, of course, it's in the name. Don't think I need to explain much more of that. The important thing, however, is that Echo here has the constellation Delphinus. I think it's called Delphinus? Something like that. Has the constellation
今日もね、暑くなりそうなので、
Look
お
at
気をつけください。
well,
今週はほんとね、まあ来週もか。
that's gonna be the
いつまで経っても
Delphinus for now.
気温が下がらないぞ。どうなっているんだ。
our friend has a constellation Delphinus. They are prophesized. For what? We'll get into it. But the first thing that happens is that you're just kind of chilling, hanging out. And this is where
ね
actually most
う
people
ちも関西なんですけど、
there's an interesting thing that
梅雨のはずなのに雨の予報が全くないですね。
very few people
今日一時雨がちょっとあるだけで、あとはもうなんか
you're supposed to do a big jump in the air before the game starts. Some people just don't do that.
どこに行ったんだろう、雨雲って感じになって
They
る。
just think it's like a cool demo.
まだね、朝一は
Small little
多少はね、それでも今日はちょっと蒸しますからね、そのせいで余計にね、
to those people, I'm so sorry.
もう
I'm
日
going
中
to
がもうずっと真夏日やっていうね、
but also you were missing out. Let's be real.
水分補給でね、休息もしっかりとって、
Right around
寝不足はやっぱりね、体に応えますんでね、お気をつけください。
on the timeline. I'm sorry, I had to call it a timeline. This is our
なんか
starting
急にね
point.
気温が上がってる感じがありますね。
Is that once you do a cool flip in the air, a big trauma happens because a giant vortex tornado.
ああ、そうですね。今のはたまたま私がね、大阪の話をしただけなんで、 逆に雨が降りすぎてちょっと大変ってところはね、災害にもなりますもんね。なかなかそこのバランスは難しいですよね。
And all of Echo's friends are in here, and you're spinning. And it's like, ah! And sure, this is a good enough. This is good enough. Wah! I had to learn how to draw dolphins a lot. Unfortunately, our friend gets to spin up here. Echo does not get taken by the vortex, of course, because we still have to play the rest of the game, but everyone else in the surrounding area does.
Echo's
So-
the only one left.
It's the only one left. And this is where the real game of Echo the Dolphin starts.
メリハリの効いた大雨と
Actually haven't
対処ですかね。
experienced. You see,
メリハリとかいらんね。そうですね。なんか冬寒かったと思うんだけどな。別に温暖化してるから冬暖かくて、なんかこうもう冬は全然寒くなくていいねとか言ってないはずな感じなんですけどね。 冬はめちゃくちゃ寒いし、夏めちゃくちゃ暑いってどういうことなんですかね。 昨日天気予報では今週いっぱい、ああ、もうそうなんですか。早いな。例年いつまでなのか、梅雨って。7月の頭ぐらいまでない？気のせい？まあね、もちろん地域によるんですけどね。うちは梅雨ありませんっていうところに住んでらっしゃる方もいらっしゃると思うんですが。
You have to go through the under caves, right? And the under caves are a great tutorial because they tell you that you are not going to be making it through this game. This game is notoriously hard.
That's the one thing I've heard about Echo is that you will not beat it.
Yes, it is actually really hard game, and I do kind of know why. It's because of the rental policy.
6月中に終わったら記録的な速さじゃない？もしかして。今の1951年からの近畿の記録を見てるんですけれども、7月、6月っていうのは1回もないですね。
Because they're a dolphin.
8月に、むしろ8月まで梅雨やったって時が1回あるみたいな。
So you have to find pockets of air in the
まあ結構先なんですけど、5年前なんですけどね。
Every time Echo takes damage, they make this horrendous scream.
むちゃくちゃやで、6月に終わったら。6月25日とかに終わったらむちゃくちゃやで、それ。
Our main derivative here is that we need to go through the under caves, past the open ocean,
ここ70年ぐらいで一番早いとか、そんな話になるで。
blue. And Big Blue is a giant blue whale that has gone up to
そう、大幅更新ですね。RTA やってますね。梅雨明け RTA やってますね。
ceremony.
例年そうですね、1ヶ月早いですかね。
Whee!
そうなんですね。エイリアンと戦うのありがとうございます。ちょっとね、エコの、
I don't really know how to
エ
do
コーザ
a
ドルフィンのね、話を。
big
そう、自分もね、エコーでね、さっきちょっとググったんですけど、全然違う画像しか出てこなかっ
and
た。エコーザドルフィンってなんかありましたよね。 なんで引っかかれへんねやろ。
I'm a trained professional. Don't try this out.
実質1週間足らずっていうね。
So friendly.
まあ、不定期ではもちろんね、あるとは思うんですけど、水不足が心配って感じですね、そこまでいくとね。四国とかね。エコーザドルフィンはなんか、タイトルは聞いた気がするんだけどな。
Decisions made in Echo the Dolphin's development. There is an entire level just called Open Ocean, and it is 100% just a
エ
giant.
コーザドルフィンシリーズではないの。
completely straight
だからこの人、一生懸命じゃないけど、
a bunch of sharks in it.
熱く語ってらっしゃるんじゃないの。エコーザドルフィン大好きな人って感じなのか
There's
な。
no catch. That's
Okay, there's actually
It-
no catch. It
yeah,
is
no,
just
it literally it is that simple. but I think it highlights specifically something I really love about Echo the Dolphin, and it's kind of a weird attention to detail when it comes to the ocean. There is a surprising amount of accuracy when it comes to Echo the Dolphin. A lot of things, when we don't get to all this stuff here, we'll get there. But when we aren't in all this stuff here, it actually
このタイトル
makes
全く見当たらへんね。
there's a lot of
どうなってるんですかね。
accuracy with, you know, what animals do and like how they
エコザドルフィン自体はね、ありますもん
stuff
ね。
like that. Biggest
そう、メガドラのやつはありますね。
story about that later on in
元メガドラやけど、これどうなったんですかね。
we'll get there. But there's you actually have to
空強いって言
traverse
葉もね、あるけど、空なのかな。
completely separate
売
Arctic
っては
to meet our friend
いるのかな。
Big Blue down here. And Big Blue is like
だから
"Hello,
そうね、綺麗に書いてらっしゃ
so
るね。
nice to see you. However, I do not
ああ、
understand
海洋哺乳
what
類
you're
好きなんですか
talking
ね。
about. This happens like once every 500 years, but we don't know anything more than that. It's just this weird phenomena. I've seen it before, though. I understand, and I know just who you need to talk to, and you're not going to believe me. So, Big Blue instead directs us to a creature called the Asterite. And the Asterite is the oldest being on Earth, dating back to who knows how long, probably back here on the timeline. They are the first organism to be recorded on the Earth, and they're still alive, so they're probably immortal. And for some reason, they are just a DNA. They are just a big DNA spiral of orbs. Orbs? They orb. We're going to draw our friend here the best I can. There we go. That's the Asterite right here. They look like this. Somehow.
I've seen him. I can't confirm.
So, you have to take another journey off to the Asterite. And the Asterite is where things start getting a little strange because this creature is immortal.
あ、そうだったんですか。本当だ、ワイドボードオブドームって書いてある。これもう本編やったんや。すいません、全く気づいてなかったわ。びっくりした。もうグッドラックやったみたいですね。タイマー動いてないから全く油断してたんですけれども。これも本編入ってましたね。びっくりしましたね。エコザドルフィン好きすぎて、語るタイムがあったんですかね。しかもこれ1時間撮ってらっしゃるんやけど1時間エコザドルフィンについて語り続けるって感じなのかな。すごいな。ね、気づきません。ありがとうございます。気づきませんでしたわ。これ司会どうしよう。ここまで司会どうしようと思ったタイトル生まれて初めてやわ。リストリームでこんだけ入ってて。まあ聞いてよか。ね。うん。ね、すごいですね。一つのゲームに対して1時間語るだけでも大変やと思いますよね。
So, it's time to take a trip to the lost city of Atlantis. You get sent off to Atlantis.
もうつい先ほどのね、なんかこう、マッカーにも出てらっしゃったもんね、この方ね。すごいな。
We are right about here on the timeline. It'll get
なかなかね、さあ次はこのゲームですっていかへんなと思ってたんですけどね。そんなことある？ドントシンクフィール的な感じなんですけど、いや、まあ、シンクもね、してもいいと思いますけどね。そういう感じのお話だと思いますけど、内容はね。熱狂演説熱狂解説なるほどね。ありがとうございます。なんか、そうね、検索かけても、そういうなんかこう、熱く語ってそうな写真しか出てこなかったんですよ。なんやろこれと思って。どういうことでしたか。これはそんなタイトルにもなるわ。
Yeah, they're like cool crystals. They're fun, but they are made specifically to give dolphins and dolphin-like creatures information, which is
So
interesting.
dolphin internet?
Dolphin internet. But you take a trip, you learn a bunch of stuff in the lost city of Atlantis, specifically about the vortex here, because they were made by the vortex, not related, well, kind of related, the vortex alien species. So, let's go ahead and draw a vortex, because for some reason, and I don't entirely know why, the vortex are basically xenomorphs. In the kids game, of course. Let's draw one of these little friends. Yeah, they're literally xenomorphs. I don't. Wah. They got spiky teeth. Wah. And they got spiky hands. Wah. It's hard to draw on a whiteboard like this, I'm starting to realize.
So this vortex is kind of different
vortex.
from this vortex, but kind of the same?
This is the vortex alien species.
Okay.
This is the vortex, the phenomenon that the vortex, the alien species, are responsible for.
Okay, so they caused that. Gotcha.
Yes, and they're
Alright.
both the vortex, and they come from the planet Vortex.
Okay, so just add another layer of confusion on there.
メガドラドリキャスで出たね、シリーズを熱く買ってったらしい。ありがとうございます。そういうことなんですね。そうそう、ゲーム画面それですね。そうそうね、動画にね、ついてた感じだったですよね。検索してみたらね。そういう意味だったのか。全くその、熟語というかね、単語をね、分からなかったんで、ピンとこなかったですけど。
I'm sure it looks like a UFO. It's just a guess, but they extend this giant tube down into the earth to extract foodstuffs from the earth. And it all just goes right back up into the mothership every 500 years. And the Atlanteans did not like that. They're not fans. So, they created a time machine, because that's the first reaction. Kind of looks like this. It's got like a fun time machine. We can draw a little. Yeah, it sort of looks like this. They made a time machine so they could go back in time to a point when the vortex were not interfering with the Earth. That is to say, they ran away from their problems because they expected that the dolphins would take care of it. Which is... Well, I mean, I guess it's a plan. It's not nothing, but I feel like
learned,
it could have...
Don't run away from your problems. Otherwise, this happens.
This does happen, unfortunately. That is to say, it is time for ECCO the dolphin to go back in time. And the way you go back in time as a dolphin is you go between these two strange cones here, and you echolocate between them, and it bounces between them into eternity. And for some reason, that takes you back in time.
So can only dolphins time travel with this time machine then?
I presume Atlanteans can as well, but otherwise...
Because they made it.
It's just dolphins, yeah. They only accounted for dolphin biology on this one. And it makes a very cool effect. You sort of spiral. It's very fun. There's all these cool particle effects. It's a great time all around. I actually really enjoy the time traveling segment. It's actually really... It's actually really fun, I promise. Questions? Excellent.
Yeah, I'm still wondering about this PS2 game over here, but we won't get into that today.
So, we go from here. Whee! We're going back in time to around right here. This is like the beginning of the Earth. If this is year 0, this is like year, I don't know. This is some year in the past where they...
7?
Sure.
4?
Something like that. Maybe a little farther on because we have other life forms because the game can't be easy. But you do get to ride on pterodactyls in these stages. You can jump up, you can ride on pterodactyls. They'll grab you. Yes, as a dolphin.
As a dolphin, you're
Yes,
riding
as a dolphin.
on pterodactyls. Okay.
Of course,
I'm
as a
with you
dolphin.
so far.
Yes. So we go back in time to go ride with the pterodactyls, and we meet up with the asteroid, who seems very mean. He attacks you on sight, and is like, no, don't take my globe, except they don't speak to Echo the Dolphin. But you take one of their globes, and a la Chaos Control, you can use a globe from the asteroid to go back forward in time. You can use it to time travel, or otherwise, the asteroid just sort of knows and sends you forward back in time. So we are going to just reverse that right there. We go right back to the point where the asteroid asked you to, and then you return to the asteroid, and the asteroid is like, oh, thank you for my globe back. I knew this was going to work out, and gives you new powers. You don't have to go up for air, and your sonar can kill vortex, which is going to be
So we're
important.
basically half fish now. We can breathe underwater.
We
now.
can't breathe underwater. There's actually a very funny line of dialogue back here. You can find a prehistoric dolphin, and the first thing they say is, if we are mammals, if we are to be sea creatures, why do we have to come up for air? First thing.
like,
First question.
の
の最後のエイリアンのマザーシップに突入するってあたりがわけわかんない。
Can't answer that one for them. And so
まあ、大海洋ゲームなのになんでそうなるんですかね。不思議だな。
one of the most sensical time things in
難易度は高いんですね。なるほどね。名前は聞いたことあったからいずれ触ってみたいですよね。
Yes.
ドリキャスはちょっとでもまあなかなかハードル高いかな。
The asteroid loses their globe from like right like there. This is time where the asteroid has lost its globe, and in this time when Echo approaches them and their globe is
スイッチオンラインでできるんだね。
realize that the person that they saw back right here
やってみようかな。
is the dolphin as they're seeing right now, and they're like,
メガドラ版ね。
I
う
must have
ん。
told Echo to go get my globe from the past so I could have it right now. Officially completing the time loop and securing everything for once and for all. And just for
パートライ
posterity,
ブミニ
uh,
2でも
why we're going to draw a line
メガ
here.
CD 版の移植が入ってるんですね。
Later. So, we're
このあたりが
back.
今だったら一番やりやすいかな。
Is like, all right, fantastic. You now have power, you have wisdom, you have knowledge. No Lamborghinis, sadly. Just knowledge.
滑らかなイルカのアニメーションね。プリペル並みにね。いいですね。
Alright. So now that you know, here's what you gotta do. With your new powers, and your new not having to come up to air, you will have to go back in time again to right
ちょっと、
the events of the game happen right here.
まあ、ずっと入ってなかった、まあ、ごめんなさい、個人的な話なんですけど、スイッチオンラインのね、追加パックに入ったばっかりなんで、 メガドラのソフト何やればいいかなとは思ってたんだけど、
And you know, so we
So
have
now we're joining
いいですね。エコザドルフィンやってみるのもね。
yes.
when the vortex comes up.
Yes. So first
Up the tube to the alien to the mothership.
to the mothership.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll
また
talk
ま
about
た
it
し
later.
とか言って。
There's a timeline where Echo
なんでそうなったん？
exists, and well, this is a timeline where Echo doesn't exist. This is a timeline where Echo stays in the future here. We'll talk about it later. And Echo goes back to the past to when
どうして
their
そうなったって感じだけど
mother
な。
and father were sucked up in the tube, and this creates our new primary timeline, the Echoes of Time timeline, which leads into the next game because it's the one that matters. So,
So is that the end?
タイムラインが分岐してますね。いろんな世界線あるのかな。
you go up
世界線の説明をしてらっしゃる感じに聞こえるの。
up the Vortex Queen, who is very mean. Let me just draw the Vortex Queen here because it's an iconic sprite because it scared so many children, so many children. I will say I want to give big props to any children that actually managed to get this far in Echo the Dolphin, because
Yeah, a hard game from the 4th generation, from the Sega Genesis era. Massive props to anyone who could beat that back then.
yeah, it's really bad, and also to actually fight this boss, you have to play the entirety of Welcome to the Machine, which is a 6-minute auto-scroller that you cannot skip and have to play every time you fail the boss. You cannot
You
skip.
have to play it every time you fail the boss.
Yep, you do.
Every time that thing kills you.
Yep, if this thing kills you, you go back to the beginning of Welcome to the Machine. They do not checkpoint you.
Game developers were mean back then.
Game developers were really mean back then. But you destroy the Vortex Queen. Looks like this in the first game. It's an iconic sprite. And then you get to go back to home with your family. And do note that in this timeline, you'll notice that this event never happens here, where Asteroid gets their globe back. That'll come back later. And by later, I mean very quickly. But the first game ends there with our time-traveling Echo the Dolphin having saved the creatures from the grasp of the Vortex for now.
Hey, pretty simple first game. We got a little bit of time loop stuff going on, but for the most part, pretty simple timeline for the first game.
Oh, man. So, cool. So, next here, we start the next game, Echoes of Time. It has time in the name. That's a bad omen. So, what happens is, because the asteroid never gets their globe back, because we're in a new timeline where the asteroid does not get their globe back. We don't see these timelines here. By the way, these X's and these branches, these are just timelines that we don't get to see, but are absolutely created, which don't have time, don't have time, don't have time, don't have time. So, Echoes of Time starts with the Vortex Queen falling back to Earth with the rest of the creatures. And the Vortex Queen is like, well, this sucks, except no, it doesn't suck. Has a great idea of, we come to this planet every 500 years to extract resources, when, in all honesty, we could just, like, land here. We could just live here. We don't have to live on Vortex. We could just move.
Yeah, why keep coming back? Just migrate.
Just migrate. And so they do. The Vortex officially invade Earth and take up residence. First, they take out the asteroid right around here. Like, right around here, we'll say. In the meantime, Echo goes on a bit of a journey and then loses their abilities, because, of course, they do. Sorry, you don't get to play all of Echoes of Time without air meter.
Because that would just be too convenient.
It'd be too convenient, it'd be too easy. You would rent the game and then you beat it that day, and that can't happen. So,
Blockbuster's to blame for our lack of breathing abilities.
it really is. So, what happens is, once you lose your abilities, it's time to start heading towards the asteroid. But as you are heading towards asteroid, what happens is, how do I explain this? One of your great ancestors from the future comes back in time to meet you. I forget their name. We're going to draw them here. They're like a future dolphin from the future. You can tell because they have these giant things, and they've got a giant flipper, and they've got a top fin for some reason. These are what dolphins look like in the future of Echo the Dolphin.
Evolution at its finest.
They can fly. We'll get there.
Naturally.
But this dolphin, your great ancestor, comes back to the past and is like, I have come from the future. There is no time to explain. And so there is no time to explain. And our friend here drags you back into the good future. Let's draw the good future here. Whee! So pulls you into the good future to meet the asteroid, and you.
そうですね。語りきれないかもしれない。どれぐらい時間取ってらっしゃるんでしょうね。一応1時間とは書いてあったんだけれども。ただね、ちょっと始まったのが早かったから、まだあと30分くらいはありそうなんだよな。タイマーがないので、正確に何分スタートだったっけは忘れちゃったけど。
Not that dolphins can't already fly in the future, they can fly.
But they can also turn into birds.
They can
because
also
that's
turn
cool too.
Yes, and they also have these giant skyways that are just like water highways, and they fly in the sky. And they also have for some reason they also have floating islands. They have a lot of cool floating water stuff for dolphins that can fly already, but maybe they like the water. So I guess they built
I'd
that.
go on a water highway. That sounds fantastic. It's like a water slide that takes me to work.
Exactly. So you take a bunch of water sky highways and a bunch of floating islands to the future asteroid, in the good future, of course, who is having a great time and is like, Echo, I remember you. Well, how's it going? You see, I assume we're having some problems. I have seen a vision into my alternate past. I know what happened. The Vortex Queen beat me up. Bad. So,
But we already defeated the Vortex
the
Queen.
Vortex Queen is back.
Oh no.
It's so bad.
From one of the timelines. Somehow she escaped.
Somewhere. So, the asteroid here is like, all right, Echo the Dolphin, you are the hero of time, legally distinct. We need your help. You need to go back to your past, and you need
そう
to
か。ボルテックスは
and see if
惑星の名前なんです
you can
ね。
back so I can give you powers again, so you can re-defeat the vortex again.
So we're
Because it's
just
sequel.
redoing what we did in the first game.
Kind
to
of, yes.
prevent
To prevent the bad
all of
future.
this stuff.
Yes.
英語でね、渦とか渦巻きとかね、
bad future.
そんな単語があるけど、渦とか渦巻きがどないしたんやろうと思ってたら、
So.
エイリアンの惑星の名前がボルテックスだったか。
Goes back. Let me. Well, Echo goes into the good future, and then is teleported back by the asteroid. And of course, this here creates a timeline where Echo never goes back in time. So we're not going to talk about it because it never gets shown. And this continues our timeline here. And thankfully, Echo 2 is not as immediately eventful. There is actually the makings of there is actually the makings of a really interesting Metroidvania in Echo 2, which is strange because you have to sort of go around these like quote unquote open world levels, picking up orbs of the asteroid. But the only difference is that instead of getting cool upgrades, they're just like artificially blocked one by one. There was something there. There really was. And I believe in Echo 2's future. But you sort of go around the Echo universe, sort of, collecting globes of the asteroid to slowly put it back together. He slowly starts talking to you more and more. And eventually, once you get like the second to last 2 orbs, the asteroid is like, listen, Echo, you've done a fantastic job so far, but unfortunately, we're having a bit of an issue because the vortex can also travel through time.
Of course it can. Why can't it?
And guess what? They took my last globe into their future. And we can't get there because the Atlantean time machine only goes back in time. It doesn't go forward in time.
Oh.
And you can't choose your timeline. So, we're not doing too great. But I still want you to invade Vortex territory and see if you can find some way to get it back. So, you get to invade the Vortex territory. It's actually pretty exciting. I actually really like the Vortex's villains. I'm a big fan of HR Gear, which is what all of the technology of the Vortex is like all based upon. Like all of the sprite work is like super HR Gear stuff. It's really interesting. I don't know why they put it in a kids game. Let's be real. I don't know why they put in the cute Echo the Dolphin game, but I'm glad they did because it makes me personally very happy. So, they go into Vortex territory and unfortunately get captured by the Vortex. And I have to try and explain this next plot point because otherwise I don't think it makes any sense. But I might just be missing something that's also potentially possible. So, once the Vortex capture Echo, they take Echo into their dark future, and they put him in a containment tank. I don't know why. Quite frankly, I think it is very silly to take Echo the Dolphin, time-traveling dolphin, into your dark future where you're keeping the asteroid orbs, but...
Yeah, that's just a recipe for Echo to stop you. Like, why would you put yourself at risk like that?
My best guess is that they have a big containment tank, and to be fair to the Vortex, all of their levels take place almost completely above water. They didn't put water in their levels. I think they figured that if there was just no water, that Echo the Dolphin couldn't do anything. That is wrong. Absolutely could. So this future is a different future. It's a different timeline from this one. This is the good future. This is good. And this is bad. That's not a B. That's a B.
Close enough.
That's fine. No. And this is the bad future, where the Vortex have already won. So they take Echo the Dolphin in, which of course creates a timeline where Echo the Dolphin was never taken into the dark future. And, of course, because this is Echo the Dolphin, you get to walk around their cool mothership. And these levels that are actually pretty cool, they changed the physics from Echo the Dolphin 1 to Echo the Dolphin 2. I think for this exact purpose, so you could flop around on the surface and not have a miserable time.
You don't need water to swim. You can flop around in the air.
Yes. Because I don't know why. But, I mean, I guess they can breathe above water, so I guess it's not that bad. Not entirely sure if that checks out, if there's any dolphin biologists that want to correct me. But, of course, Echo manages to find the last globe of the asteroid in their big bad base, and a la Chaos Control uses it to go back in time to their original... timeline, which of course creates a timeline where they're stuck in the future that we don't see. And they go back here and give back the asteroid their last globe. And so the asteroid's like, fantastic, all right, now I can restore your powers, and you can go back into the Vortex base and take care of these sillies once and for all. Because I forget when this is said. It's somewhere around here, I want to say, but I think it's probably because of the strange stars on Echo the Dolphin's forehead. But it is Echo alone and only Echo the Dolphin who is able to create new timelines and actually affect the future and time travel. So, of course, this means that here are some additional timelines that Echo recklessly creates when they are not...
そうですね、なかなか実験的な。
not doing the things that they do.
Get Turkey of the Menu とか、なんかその辺で、あれなのかな。ターキーオフとかの辺で運命のとかそんなんですかね。どういう単語なんやろ熟語なんやろね。
Which is so metal. I have no idea where they got that prose. I'm so happy.
So Echo discovers that he can create timelines?
さすがにね、そんだけ語るんだったら、台本なり、練習なりしてるのかな。 ホワイトボードが埋まっちゃったらね、大変ですよね。
This time he was sort of taken to the future. He didn't really have too much of a choice. And this time he was taken by the vortex of the future. And these things sort of just happen incidentally as he comes back into time because that is just how the time travel works in this series for some reason. But all that to say, Echo is fully powered up, has all of their abilities back, and is ready to take down the vortex. It's actually another big auto-scrolling stage. They didn't learn. They did kind of learn. Let's be fair.
Is
They
there
did.
a checkpoint after the auto
Yes.
scroller?
It is
Thank
shorter.
Goodness.
It is
It's
shorter.
You get a checkpoint afterwards. You don't have to do the auto scroller
ですね。自分にも当てはめるとどうなんだろうなって考えるのも面白いですね。
They did, and it's beautiful. But this, of course, means that we are now in our final timeline here, where the Vortex are defeated again. You get another fight with the Mother Vortex down here. It's pretty fun. It's way better than the first one, I think. But that's just me. You fight the Vortex Mother. You fight the Vortex Mother again, take them down, and they like leave in like a larval state, so, you know, presumably some sort of bait. And then the world is saved again from the Vortex. Whoa!
So they're gone for good now.
Well, we'll get there. So there is actually an epilogue to Echoes of Time. They put an epilogue in their Echo the Dolphin game for the Sega Genesis. They made an epilogue where the asteroid is like, Echo, it's so good to see you again. That time travel was nonsense. Let's stop doing it. Let's stop time traveling.
Yeah,
We've done enough.
Stop while we're ahead.
Yes. So I want you to go back to the Atlantean time machine and destroy it for me. I do not want to meddle with this again. This was a bad idea.
So they're just gonna destroy it, shut it all down.
Shut it all down. We're not doing this time travel thing again. And Asteroid does have the right idea. However, we'll get there. Unfortunately, we go back to the lost city of Atlantis, and you actually get to play through some like Echo 1 style levels in Lost City of Atlantis. It's very fun. You get to turn into a group of fishies and a bunch of dolphins try to eat you. It's very interesting. But Echo goes to the time machine and supposed to destroy it, but oh no, Echo, what are you doing? What have you done? Echo goes back in time with the time machine again. We don't know why Echo the Dolphin goes back in time. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe it was intentional malice. Maybe it was an accident. I don't know what happened, but we are going back in time again. And unfortunately, this is where it ends.
That's where it ends?
That's where it ends. The game ends going back in time again. And then the game is like, wonder where he's going. Wonder where Echo the Dolphin is going. Find out in Echo 3. There was no Echo 3. So, we have two timelines here. One where Echo the Dolphin actually does destroy the time machine, and one where they go off to do
something.
Echo 3, reportedly. But this is the full timeline for these two games. So, it's already a lot, and we didn't even talk about one of them.
Oh yeah, the PS2 game.
The PS2 game has an entirely different canon. They're called the foe, I think. I think they're
It's not canon, so it's like
it
completely
is
unrelated.
It's a different canon, so it's a different timeline technically.
Okay, so it's
but like everything's a different timeline now, so I don't know how canon it is.
It's just one of the others.
Yeah. Like they're called the foe, and the asteroid is a giant beam of light instead, and they stopped calling it the asteroid. And there's like there's like a whole dolphin faction in the past with the Atlanteans. It's a whole nightmare. We can't talk about it. We can't talk about it. We can't talk about it.
Okay.
So, that is most of Echo the Dolphin. It's a weird, it's a weird series for sure. It's fantastic. It's fun. And I do recommend you do check out these games to some degree. I mean, we'll never know what was going through this dude's head when we were making this, but hold on. Actually, you know, I've been talking about Ed a little bit. He's like alive still. I know I've been talking about him like a deity, but like he still makes games actually. He's still working on Echo the Dolphin actually. Echo the Dolphin 3 actually just got
Echo 3 is a thing.
actually Echo 3 got like announced like very recently. He's still
Heck
alive.
yeah.
So
Might learn what happens
Hold
after
on.
all.
let me. You can. He's got a phone number.
Oh.
Hold on.
Are we calling Ed?
Yeah. Let me see. I know he's around. Like he's still kicking. He's doing fun stuff these days, actually. Oh, hello. Let's see if I can get you on speaker. Hello. Hello. It's nice to meet you, Ed. Welcome. Nice to have you around.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. We've been enjoying Echo the Dolphin for a little bit.
Yeah?
Yes.
Tell me more.
Oh, yes. We've got a whole whiteboard here. I don't know if you're tuned into the stream right now, but it's a beautiful whiteboard. We just have a few questions about it.
Alrighty.
Excellent. So, first things, I think there's a question on everyone's mind right now. Why does the dolphin go back in time?
Well, as a universal solution to all problems, going back in time does come in handy, especially when the problem you're trying to solve is epic, like the one that Echo is trying to solve. But the real reason is I was a sci-fi nerd when I was a kid, and the minute
そうか。
I got an opportunity to
あ
make
ん
my
なんなん
own video
あ
game,
んなんヒンジとラントの方が
That makes sense.
short answer.
That makes sense. Another thing we've been talking about lately, or at least right now,
熱狂
there's
回数
actually
なんです
been
かね。
a like semi-popular video released by, I want to say it was Grand Pooh Bear talking about Echo the Dolphin, but that is to say, Echo
テレ
the
フォンでしたね。
Dolphin's difficulty has been a talking point for a
延
hot
長は
minute.
何か
How do
関
you
係あるの
feel
かな
about it? Especially since I know we're doing remakes now.
Well, hmm.
うまいこと電話の音声取ってますね。技術的に大変やろに。
It seemed like the right difficulty. It seemed like it was almost
AI による概要。
obviously I was off by a little bit on that.
面倒な状況や問題から解放される。ほう、厄介な人を排除する。
It should be a challenge because
七面鳥って厄介なのかな。
it's a game, so your
ありがとうございます。
is it trivial?
なんで七面鳥なんやろね。その辺はアメリカ英語的な言い回しなんですかね。
You know,
七面鳥だし
there
ね。
needs to be a little pushback. But you know, when you design the things and then you try them out and you make a prototype for, you know, like for any of the elements, the puzzle elements in the game, you know the solution when you try them out. So they're a lot easier. So when I'm judging the difficulty of the game, I already know I know how to do everything.
Yeah.
A million times. So the game seemed easier when I released it. The problem is, back then when you make a game, you burn it onto an EEPROM, you put it in a box and then put it on a cargo container and put it on a ship and go across the ocean and then put it on the shelf of Toys R Us. And it's like, oops, it's a little too hard. Or, you know, there's a bug. So to update that game is very difficult.
Yeah, no kidding. As sort of like a final send-off, there's been a lot of games about the ocean in recent memory, actually. It feels like there's been more of an appreciation that I feel like Echo had for quite some time. Games like Subnautica, Abzu, stuff like that. How do you think ECCO sort of fits into this new legacy of sorts?
Well, I'm always happy when I see underwater games, and I love the games you just mentioned very, very much, and I'm very much looking forward to Sword of the Sea. I guess basically I was such a science nerd that the ocean is just filled with like great stuff, and obviously it's important, and it's great that more games are starting to use the ocean as a theme, and of course it's a perfect vehicle to learn more about the world we live in, and that's something that all humans are really fucking obligated to do. So any chance I get, I slip nature and science into the games, obviously. And I think, other games that are overtly underwater or aquatic is already, a giant step towards having to acknowledge the environment and nature and science.
Of course, thank you so much. I do have a few questions about the timeline here. So I know we didn't get to talk about Defense of the Future, but is it like a different timeline, or because they changed a bunch of names and stuff, and the asteroid got changed along the way, and I don't really know what that's about, and where does the Bad Future fit into this? Is Bad Future part of Defense of the Future? And it was does it... Hello? Ed Annunziata.
お返事なくなっちゃった。
Thank you. What a fun guy. Well,
冷凍炊き油はやばそうですね。
This is my problem.
ファイヤーバース。へえ。
It's a problem for another time.
七面鳥が自分たちの運命を変えるためにタイムスリップするね。ね、まあそうね。いろいろするの大変なのかな。英語の勉強になりますね。ありがとうございます。そうですね。何分ぐらいは寝るんでしょうね。またあと20分ぐらいはやるのかな。バチバチハテナになってますね。
And with that, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rhea, for that amazing Unhinged rant. We will be right back while we get set up with our next segment. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
はあ、終わったのかないやー、ね、なかなか暑い時間でしたが。ちょっと暑さに圧倒されちゃいましたけどね。次のゲームの準備してまいります。しばらくお待ちください。